and then I'm the guy getting heckled. That's another reason why I don't listen to the video, because I don't want to hear the bad jokes all night long again. All right, so let's talk about the first device we're going to be going through. Again, quick demo, hold on to your questions. So this is a thermal imaging camera. What this does is it's obviously going to find heat signatures. It's all surface temperatures. You should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. If you were a bridal party, sorry to you guys, but I'd be the hottest thing in the video. The white is the hottest thing. What we're looking for are the blue and black. Those are the colder areas inside the frame. If they start to move or take shape on their own, we're literally looking for cold spots. Like, that's what this is designed to do. This is a FLIR Pro 1. This is used by firemen and mechanics, like on the daily. So it is a very high professional type camera. As great as the hardware is, the software sucks. Like, it's so bad. So if we record for too long, we're going to lose all footage. So Alex, throughout the night, I'm going to say, let's do some starts and stops. Like, go ahead and stop your video, give it a rest, so forth and so on. You will keep this guy horizontal, just like this all night, with the camera on your left. That's the wire side. So, again, most people don't like their cars or themselves being filmed. So at times, I may say just be casual, where you're just going to be a casual person. You also have a blue dot bouncing around your screen. So what that blue dot tells us is the coldest point in the frame at that particular moment. It kind of helps direct our eye on where the cold spike might be generating from. So again, have some fun with this guy. It's already recording. I do that on purpose so that way everybody has that tutorial of what to look for. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see. You've been the chatty Cathy since you got here. You see why I show up early? I'm the writer. You're all characters to me. So we're going to use two different types of spirit boxes tonight. So spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead. You guys all watch the ghost hunting TV
Hell
shows?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
Newton's top 10.
So the ghost hunting TV shows, a lot of this lingo might sound pretty familiar. The equipment that I have and the methods that I use might be a little bit different than what you guys see on TV. Spirit boxes, again, way for us to communicate with the dead through sweeping through FM radio stations. This is going to be a slower sweep than what you hear on TV. It's usually just the white noise, and then your host will tell you some disembodied voice of what he thinks he heard, trying to convince you of the same thing. We're going to do this a little bit different. You guys aren't used to listening to the white noise all night long. However, mine is slowed down. I want the radio chatter to come through. If you hear song lyrics, DJs, commercials, it's a 50-50 shot that I can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history I'm talking about, or even something going on with one of us. Believe it or not, sometimes you guys bring people with you. You didn't know it. So sometimes they're just trying to give us a message. The cool thing about this, guys, is recording the entire session. So if you play with the volume, not a big deal. You want to turn it down so you can hear the history, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to give you an earbud, so you're going to be the only person to hear this in real time. However, you're all going to get the recording back tomorrow morning. I'm going to give you 15 to 20 markers tomorrow morning, whether it's relevant or not. It's going to help train your ear on what I listen for this, so that way you can find more things. For every 5 minutes of recording, I listen to 1 full minute. If I find something, I write it down. And then if it's obviously something relevant, I give you the link to verify it with an explanation. Fair? You have one button to worry about. It's the volume. It's right here. It's a wheel at the very top next to the button. You don't want to hit the button. So hold it that way for just a second. I'm going to give you a set of earbuds. I do not want them back because earwax is gross. Who wants earwax? And you already said you're a nurse, so you already knew that. See, I listen. I pay attention to stuff.
Wife must love that.
What, my wife? My wife? Sorry, I'm getting them all squared away. So, you're going to be my multitasker.
Yay.
Yay. This is a millimeter. So, a millimeter is going to measure 3 different things. However, this is not going to record anything, which means I have to manually record it. So, I have a little notebook I keep in my pocket here, so at times I say, hey, what's the reading? You're going to be measuring EMF. EMF is electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields can be caused by anything paranormal, electrical wiring, your cell phone, anything like that. No, you don't have to shut it off before you ask. So with that, anything above 2.5 on those big numbers, I kind of want to know what's going on. I want to be able to debunk things before we say, oh my God, look at this paranormal thing that's going on. I'm not that guy. I'm not Zach Bagans. The bottom is ambient temperature. Alex finds something on his camera. You and I can debunk it pretty quickly with the ambient probe right here at the top. So if he finds a cold spot, you and I are going to try to find that cold spot to see if it's something man-made or if it's something paranormal. The last thing that it has a motion sensor on it. It's called a REM pod. Anything gets close to that antenna, it will go off. So I have it set to close proximity so that way bugs aren't interrupting it. So the closer it gets, the higher it's going to go. Notice I have this pointed down right now because those LEDs are super bright, and that noise is super annoying. So I'm going to shut it off for now and show you more tactics with that at the first location. All you need to do is pay attention to those numbers on the red screen. Look at you. you were kind of quiet. I'm like, I better give her something quiet. The spirit box is not going to work with her.
Yeah, she's
Marina.
a quiet sister.
It's okay, because you're too busy talking.
Rita, you're going to be using a different type of spirit box. So instead of listening to it, this is actually going to give us words in the center of the screen from time to time where those 3 dots are, just so you guys all know what she's going to be looking at. It's going to save all the words to a list. My last tour we had 63 terms. That's about average, maybe a little light, so I'm going to clear them out and start us off fresh. This is a phone app. 80% of what comes out of this thing is absolute BS. It doesn't mean anything. It's the other 20% that could be relevant to the place, the location, one of us. Same principle as what Natalie's listening to. So most of it, when you show me words, I might say, that's a little vague, let's wait. But I'll come to you when I want to see the words that are on the list, otherwise you're going to interrupt me like every minute and a half, because they show up that quickly.
Okay.
So when I say, let's see the list, you're just going to hit that little white button. You'll be able to scroll through the list when it pops up, and then you just circle back. So basically you have to wait for words to pop up, and I'll come to you when I want to see them.
Okay,
And we'll
so
see what's wrong.
you will be notified by itself, or I could call you?
No, I will come to you, because you're going to get words all night long.
Oh.
And when you get carried back. No, perfect. You get the newer device. The one we're still experimenting with.
Oh, that is lovely.
So. Alright, this guy is a lot different than this camera over here. First off, you guys should not be able to see me in this camera. I know it's a small screen, but it should be pretty dark aside from the car lights going right by me. So let's turn on some lights. This is infrared lighting. This is lighting you cannot see with your own eyes. So the hope here is that we're going to be able to capture something we can't see with our own eyes. When I had my fuller groups of 10, there's a person that has lasers that we work with this as well. But we capture a lot of orbs with this guy as well, which is super cool. I haven't caught anything specific enough where I'm like, oh my god, look at this paranormal entity. But I have caught things where I'm like, what the hell is that? Kind of mentality. So the hope here again is that you're going to have something that's going to come through here where I can actually study it, and we'll have some great evidence from this guy from the start. I'm just wiping off the sanitizer bubbles that are probably going to be on your screen. So I try to do that every night, but I always forget. So with that, you're not recording yet, only because the files for this guy are super huge, but we will do starts and stops with this throughout the night. So that guy goes to you. All right, guys, go have fun. You let me know what happens when you get back. No, I'm kidding. Please don't call me. All right, so, the bag's so much lighter. So much nicer.
Can I hold it down?
Do whatever you want to with it.
Awesome.
So there's a wrist strap on there if you want to throw it in your pocket and you just play with the
Oh,
volume in your
really?
pocket. Yeah. Not going anywhere. You're going to stick with me all night. It's not like you're running away.
Can't run anyways.
So, everybody's all geared up, so let's talk about why we started here. I asked you guys all to meet me next to Big John's for a reason. You guys were sitting in the front. Anybody have any weird feelings while you were up there by chance? Let me explain what goes on there and then you'll tell me. So, Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants.
Ooh.
This was his bar back in the day. This is a renovation of an older bar turned back into Big John's, just so you all know. But anyway, he used to sit in the back and he used to tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, which is over that way, if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. So Big John has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty angry. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John gets pissed off, he gets up from the bar, and he just starts pounding these guys, just beating the heck out of them, right into the floor. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall behind him. John gets up after being shot. He goes back to the bar and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor in ambulance. Now, nobody dies in this story, so what's haunting the place? The bullet hole is allegedly still here. Even if after the renovations they filled it up, that means John's blood is still in the building. People that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, headache. It happens often. A lot of times my guests will stop there for a bite to eat before they come over here and they couldn't finish their steak. So you snickered a little bit. Something happened?
No, I wanted a beer.
It happens. It is a tavern. So again, I bring this up on purpose because fingers crossed we're going to be dealing with paranormal activity tonight, which is why you're all here. I don't know how it's going to affect you. If anybody feels any of those symptoms, headache, nauseous, or dizziness, I need to know right away to get us all to safety and move that person to safety. I won't say that people haven't passed out from this tour in the past. I may even stop and tell you about a few passing outs in the past that have actually happened. So he's like, yeah, I want to know. He's all in. So let's talk about
Oh, yeah.
something a little happier other than our own health, because Rita looks a little worried. So, big earthquake here in 1886. It's a big deal for us because this is the East Coast. We're not supposed to have earthquakes. So, this is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle you see in the middle of the building, the big white bar, it also goes around the front of the building on East Bay Street. A piece of that broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head. I know, history's boring. Struck somebody in the back of the head and killed him. The previous bar owner said he used to see shadows in the middle of the East Bay Street in the middle of the night. Now, apparently and allegedly are a lot of terms I use with that story because I don't have any proof other than what the previous bar owner told me. So, it's just a great segue so the moms that I get on the tour aren't worried about their kids getting sick on the tour. So, yeah, there's a good laugh. All right, so somebody's paying attention. All right, so you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
So
Yeah.
is it gonna play like songs the whole time? And
The commercials, the DJs. Now, I will tell you, my tour from the other night, because I didn't have one last night. I had things going on. But anyway, the tour from the other night, I caught a disembodied voice on it, which is a rarity. The disembodied voice was straight laughter. How do I know it was disembodied voices? It went over 4 different radio stations, and I was able to analyze it. It actually, because I have different software. I'm guessing you're my skeptic, but I'm not going there yet. But we'll talk about that at the end of the tour. So, I don't bring it up till then. But at the same time, will those disembodied voices come through in real time? They can if you hear them. But again, it's hard to distinguish unless you can play over and over and over again. That's why I love to record every little detail. And I stumbled upon it.
So why does it play like sounds and like songs? Is it a radio station?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's actual FM radio stations.
Oh, okay. So then that's when you can tell from something is different because they're going on top.
So, have you ever seen the movie Transformers? Mm-hmm. Do you remember Bumblebee, how he talked to us?
Bumblebee.
It's the same principle.
Yeah.
So, again, you're going to hear little partial words, maybe full phrases. It's the full words and the full phrases that I'm after. Because, again, it might seem silly to you, but drop it like it's hot might mean that there was a fire here at one point, and all I could find was the word hot to try to explain that to us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go answer some more questions this way. What do you think? Is this what you signed up for? Yeah, I think so. All right, so when I have my full groups of 10, even this is still a decent sized group, this is your practice area. The history here is very, very simple, and I did it that way on purpose. This is, first off, what I call the Big Red Barn. This is, well, everybody calls it the Big Red Barn, not just me. But this is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. So in the summertime, you can smell them really, really strong. The horses can hear us, which is one of the reasons why we use earbuds on your spirit box now, because they don't like the white noise. The history here is really simple. This is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. Really, really simple. Let's talk about spirit boxes, because we do have 2 of them in play tonight. Spirit boxes, this is not television. This is not, is somebody here? Like everybody wants to ask. First off, if you hear the answer no, that means somebody's here. So we're not going to ask yes or no questions at all. You guys are all here for specifics and actual proof of the paranormal. We're going to go after the specifics. For example, if somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is. Obviously, we know the answer to this one, all right, because the answer is in the question. You're looking and listening for the color red. However, the word red might not be in the vocabulary that they can find from the song lyrics and DJs or even from the word list, but fire truck, blood, heart, all 3 of those things are specifically red. I would accept that as an answer. What color is the Big Red Barn? Heart. I get it. However, most of the night I'm going to require 2 pieces of evidence that are going to kind of verify what's going on. Farida gets the word art on her word list, and you hear the number 40. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. Do you see where I have to match these clues up together? A lot of them throughout the story. A lot of the stories tonight are going to have multiple people with the same names. Lots of Georges, lots of Charleses, lots of Elizas, that kind of thing. I don't know what's going on with this person with the flashlight. They're kind of all over the place. But anyway, I'm always going to ask for that secondary clue to try to verify. It could even be an EMF reading that Teresa's getting on her millimeter. So it could be one of those kind of pieces. It doesn't always have to be 2 spirit boxes matching up. It could be, one or the other. So spirit boxes, this is like a place for you guys to at least get a chance to see how that thing is going to work. And as far as what words to watch for, I'm going to definitely check up on your word list here in a few minutes. But this is a great chance for you to listen in and ask some questions, like literally like somebody standing in front of you. If somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. If either one of you get an answer for that, what's inside the barn? I'm always going to slow down on certain keywords in every single story. Over there, it was 47, New York, and Giants, right? So those are very specific details. Big, John, and anything related to a barn. Over here, it's going to be anything related to horses, delivery, milk, eggs. So again, those are our kind of keywords, and I will always slow down throughout the night with each story on which keywords you should be listening and looking for. And that goes for the rest of you too, for when you have to listen to it tomorrow morning. So, cameras. And we're going to walk through this thing together slowly, just because I don't know what's going on with the flashlight lady up there. But cameras, I normally pull you guys aside. Do you have any readings yet, by the way, Teresa?
No.
Nothing yet?
Zero.
Okay. So cameras, first and foremost, we're going to be in some spaces like this where people's vehicles are in play and people walking through. You're going to be casual. I know yours are a little bit harder to distinguish and keep hidden, but you could just drop it just like you're holding it. Not a big deal. So with yours, you're going to try to do two things. You're going to try to keep a person in view, because we're going to be the warmest thing out here, 97 to 99 degrees. If anybody's higher than that, we have a bigger issue. But you're also going to try to keep the sky out. So if you have the sky in view, that blue dot defaults to the sky because there's nothing to measure. So people in, sky out. By putting people in it, we're going to have a bigger array of color to be able to watch on the video, so that way we can see those cold spots move a little bit quicker. As far as your camera, really what I'm looking for are things in the dark. So go ahead and point it at me for a second, so you can kind of see me in the purple circle. Yeah. I'm looking for things up here. No, keep it down on me. But I'm looking for things in the darker areas around the circle that you be able to reflect light, kind of thing. So that's really what I'm looking for. And also, if we're like huddled in a group like this and somebody gets a little too close, you see how my hand glitched out? You can turn off the short range light and you still have the long range light working for you. I will also tell you that this guy gives us night vision. I don't use night vision because it just draws attention from the other tourists. They're always wondering what the hell I have you guys up to now. So in this way we don't get interrupted. So just kind of keep the night vision off. But there was a little red button. Got it. Perfect. Nice and easy to operate. Alright, so we're going to walk through slowly. You're going to get used to the different types of material and how they move around. You're going to be listening in loud and clear until we get to our next stop, which is literally just across the street. We're going to deep dive into deeper history other than football players and ponies. You guys ready? Ready? You in for this?
So while you're talking, I can kind of mute it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just turn the volume down. That's all. You're not going to disrupt the recording at all. It's all going to be even keel tomorrow.
Okay.
So you can play with that volume high and low as much as you want. Does it turn off by itself? No. No. I had a fresh battery in it when I left it out.
Puddle. Puddle's gonna be cold. Yeah, look, the puddles are cold. Food. Dinner.
Right. Welcome to another beautiful site of Charleston, everybody. Another parking lot. You guys just got here and I'm showing you all the best places to go. So, I'm swapping out this battery as we talk. So, this place used to be something. Obviously, I wouldn't just take you to some random place, right? This used to be home to Eliza and Charles Pinckney, so who the heck were they? First off, spirit boxes, I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse? Right? You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. I'm not going to lead you into anything. Hey, there's a full battery. So, you will probably need one more battery change though. Usually only lasts about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Okay. Alright, so Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses in case you lost count. See why I need that secondary clue? The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Pretty big deal to us, but if I don't mention it, they usually get a little angry, so I shouldn't mention it so we actually get some paranormal proof, but I like to bring it up at least. But Eliza married Charles at a young age. I'm not going to tell you how old she was, but I will tell you that Charles was over double her age. And when I say she married at a young age, it's based on the colonial times that she came from. Or I'm sorry, based on today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. If we were talking about then, it'd probably be like 12 to 14 years old. But that's not the case. So, but Charles was over double her age. Her father over in England thought he was dying, and he wanted to see all of his children one last time. She didn't think he was dying, so instead she got married and put her foot down. This is 1744. There's no such thing as a green card or citizenship or anything like that. She did it out of love. Even after Charles died, Eliza remained a widow. So, just to show you it was actually out of true love. A lot of people like to probe and who was cheating and did you remarry kind of thing. Yeah, it gets crazy. But anyway, so she was right. Dad didn't die right away. He starts sending her gifts over from England to this space. This was her house. One of those, gifts happened to be the plant indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. You have it on right now. So, that's how we still use it today. So, the way this was set up was the house was in the front, Eliza's garden was right behind Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So, let's get into the weird stuff about Eliza. Because indigo was a pretty big deal. She had to call her dad to be able to sell it overseas, and she became an international businesswoman. But the weird stuff is where we start coming into play, right? Because that's why you're here. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza, back to back from Charles. Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. If you're unsure about which Eliza we're trying to talk to, ask what their maiden name was. Not their middle name, the maiden name. Eliza had children. I told you at least one of them. His name was Charles, signer of the Constitution, but there were more. You can ask how many she had and what their names were, but then after that, leave it alone. If you're getting any kind of reading on your EMF at all, it will stop if we start poking the bear on the children, only because there is a tragedy among those kids. She doesn't want us poking the bear too hard. So, names and how many, then leave it alone. Eliza's death. Ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. How old were you when you died? Where are you buried? What did you die from? And what president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Notice these are all very specific questions. The mansion's not here anymore, obviously. You can ask what happened to it, and then what year did that tragedy happen? So we'll kind of see what you guys hear out of your spirit boxes and see what comes up out of that. Basically, we should all be kind of keeping an eye on Teresa as she wanders around, so that way we can see where the hot spots are to be able to ask those type of questions. We are going to start the filming on your end, so we're going to hit this button now until that starts flashing. Perfect. You're already still recording. We are not going to go in between vehicles. There's quite a few in here tonight. There's usually not this many during a weekday, but we kind of stay in the corners or in the center, so that way we can kind of go through. Like, we will spend a good 5 to 8 minutes here based on what's actually happening. We're going to be conducting many investigations throughout the night. Keep in mind, most investigators stay for hours on end trying to capture data, so kind of keep that in play. But again, 5 to 8 minutes or so, based on what you're hearing. You guys are going to see me with my little nerdy notepad out taking notes to kind of see what occurs. But yeah, let's spread out. Let's have some fun. We're going to be following you. Let's see where you want to go. Are you getting any readings at all?
It's going from like 0.1 to 0.
Okay, so that's pretty much nothing. To kind of put things on a scale for you, if you were to put that device behind your television, it would probably range anywhere between like 40 to 56 milliamps. If you had your microwave running and you were standing next to it, that would probably go all the way up to about 150 to 180 milliamps. Just so you guys know, like, how much we're actually looking for. Have I gotten those kind of readings out of this space before? I have, but they're totally random. There are no electrical anything inside this. They've never even done an archaeological dig here. So again, this was a restaurant not so long ago. I would say about 5 to 10 years ago. It's obviously not here anymore either, but there's no electrical wiring left from it at all to be able to cause her device to go random the way that it will, hopefully. So, 0.1 to zeros is, I'm not even going to record it. 2.5 and higher is where I still want to see like what's going on around us. So 2.5. As far as your camera goes, actually both cameras, these are not always in the moment type things. So again, if you find something in real time, amazing. Are we going to find something tomorrow morning? I hope so. They're not always the perfect capture, but if we're not recording, we're not going to get anything.
True.
So, have you heard anything? Or have you had it turned down?
No, I have it up. I just can't really hear much of anything. So
Okay.
it keeps jumping.
And I'm asking. She has the hardest job out here, by the way. So, and because you were chatty so much when we first met up, I'm like, she might be good at this. So, really, anything that you can make out, even the silliest thing, like if you can just make out, I said Charleston, but even that, I still want to know so you get a gist on what you're actually listening for. It's, those radio stations that you should be listening to. Those disembodied voices, if they occur, awesome. But more than likely, I won't catch them until tomorrow, if they're there. So, again, let's spread out. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's do this. Where's your word list at? Let me see where you're at. So, there's this guy.
Yeah, whatever that is. Card.
I can hardly hear anything. No, and
Summon the spirits. Oh.
What? Back to here. Well, in Newton's top 10, those stories, you gotta talk to them and call their name.
Summon the
it's actually quite
spirits.
interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you tonight. Vanessa said this week is very good.
Awaken the spirits.
Come on, spirit. What was her name? Eliza. Is it Eliza?
Eliza. Yeah.
Eliza.
That's from Hamilton. 1.0.
Oh.
1.1. It went back to 0.
Just kidding, it went back to 0. Well, we said her name.
No, we did.
Oh, I did.
We did. Where is she, Eliza?
That's a good start.
Zero.
Are you hearing anything? Is it moving? Yes, it's moving. Just want to make sure we're all... I did this, I do this every night. Sometimes people shut it off by accident and don't tell me, so it's just on one
Oh, no,
static station.
I totally hear it. It's going, jumping.
Yeah, and it's as slow as I can make it.
Her name's Elijah, right?
Eliza with a Z.
Eliza.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Like, you definitely keep an eye on that thing. Yep, and you'll see this, all the blue and green stuff, that's all for aesthetic. You'll see this kind of jump off and you might get a new word. See, it's all part of it. It doesn't make it. It's all, like I said, it's part of
The cars are not a good spot for these. It's immediately going to the windshield. Come on out, Eliza.
Yes, come on. See, Alex got it.
We want to see you tonight. What happened here?
Anything crazy going on with yours?
Nothing really yet. Just keeping it away from windshields, really.
Yeah, windshields.
That's the
and
biggest
it doesn't
one.
see through glass, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Until I started studying thermodynamics after I got it. I was
Uh-huh.
like, damn it, it's not going to be able to see through glass. But one of the spaces that I used to go to,
4.0.
0 again.
0 again.
that's why they call it ghost hunting, because the ghosts don't stand still.
Moving.
They're always moving. Oh, let's turn on your REM pump. So I didn't get a chance to show you that. No, you're going to do it. Yep, so that's the antenna right here. You're going to pull that up.
Eliza.
Yeah, so as long as it's flush into the back of the device, it works. So again, I like to use this for a couple of reasons. First, I'm just going to pick any kind of motion. I wanted to show you how bright it is. But I also use it to watch the lights for a second. There's going to be different colors in there. Notice the blue and purple right in the middle. So I kind of use it as a call and answer. Eliza or Charles, if anybody's here, they this box is blue or purple. That means that they're not touching it. They also need to get so close to the screen to go to that call and answer. It is a definite proof if you can ask for something and get it in return. So, and I'm hoping that she's going to be able to start hearing that pretty soon too. So that might actually be another indicator. Hey, we'll go off of your movements. So the more you
6.7.
Oh, that's good.
6.5. 15.7.
Oh, there we go.
0.
Now with that too, your emotion's making it go off. There's a way to reset it. Right along the side where your thumb is right now, there are 4 buttons. The very bottom one is the one you want. Your thumb should kind of sit there all night while the REM pod is on. And
We
you just
want
keep
to
clicking
see
it.
you
You want to
tonight.
make sure it's not your movements making it go off.
We want to see you
Every time it goes off,
tonight.
click it again to reset the floor. But you got a 15.7, is that what it was? Our highest one?
No.
You got a 6.7.65.
Captured it?
Where are you?
Take a look at this one.
What color is the barn, Eliza?
Too vague.
Eliza.
My bad.
I don't know if that's
That's why you click it. You click it, you try to do it when it's doing it to make sure it's not you. If you're remaining still, it does it again, it's definitely not you. And the wind is not obviously going to make it go off.
So if I'm just moving like this,
All right, Eliza.
It has to be. I normally give this to females because you want to go forward. About it, they probably won't. Very little. But if you're a guy and they walk like this, it's thumb, it's going to go off.
I did not believe because it was never.
Anything above 70 at this point is okay. Obviously, you found a hot spot.
wait, no.
Anything.
Yes. We're told.
Okay? It's something. And if you guys you can swap too. Just keep it within your party. It's the only thing if you guys want to swap devices. Like those 70s don't show up here very often. I'll just put it up.
We don't talk about Bruno, Eliza.
Alex, anything weird?
Not really.
Okay.
Been them moving.
Am I listening to like different lyrics or
Lyrics too.
like
Yeah.
what would they say?
I use the example of drop it like it's hot, right? Any clear. It could mean anything. Sometimes.
Well, I've been getting a lot of different like words and stuff, but I can't really like understand what they're saying. Yeah.
Again, I'm going to go through this before you get it. If you want to give up on it and swap with somebody, you can. You see if somebody else wants to give you a response.
You want to try for you though?
And you're going to see bugs in here. Yeah. Bugs light up. Like,
I don't have any.
Drop it like it's hot.
It's but
No more.
So on the side is that reset button. It's the bottom one.
oh, it's the very bottom one.
Yep. Yeah, there's only 4 buttons.
So I don't push it though.
Only when it goes off, just to make sure it's not from your buttons. So go ahead and like shake the device a little bit, just so you can see it go off. Now go ahead and hit the button. It'll reset.
Oh, okay. And then if it goes off again.
Right.
going.
You're using that as
And we just came off of a full moon too. So at the beginning of the year, like the first 3 to 5 months, usually a full moon will usually attract a little bit of something. On the latter half of the year, the last 3 or 4 months, it's usually a new moon. You guys have to remember what I do for a living. I track all of this stuff. So we just had a full moon the other night. We actually had a pretty decent amount of
See what you mean.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It is not easy. I don't know how you do that at your house.
Every day.
I'm like, it's like.
And then on my own
I have
investigations,
ADD, so I'm like trying to what was it?
on my investigations, I listen to the entire thing over at least twice. And sometimes it's 3 or 4 hours long,
Oh my gosh.
just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Why don't we like closer to the wall just in case these people say
I think we're gonna steal their cars.
I want to take a turn on. Oh, face it.
Just make sure you tag me on Instagram or TikTok, whatever the hell you're doing.
I don't use TikTok, but I will do Insta.
Alright, let's hear it. You got anything coming out of there?
See, I'm telling you. Just give it to Alex next. That's why I used 2, because 2 made it a lot easier.
I'll give you another minute before I give you guys the answers and we'll roll on.
Does it usually happen like the same thing?
What do you mean?
Like the same songs when you go to this place? No. Every time you come here is different.
And I never know what's going to come in. I never know what's going to come in.
Do you sometimes like change up your tour?
The route? I changed it, not this past November, but the year before that, only because I had to. And then I was like, oh, I'll just change it every November. And I just haven't had a chance to come down here to kind of like find new spaces, because I do get repeat customers. Because every night that I'm out here is different.
It's different, yeah.
So, I mean, I tell the same stories, but the evidence is always different.
Yeah, because you're the only one who actually has things to use. So everything could be different.
Right. And that's why people want to go on it again, but I hate to tell the same stories to the people that have already been here and bore them since they already know the stories, and be in a mixed group where somebody who didn't know the stories.
Yeah.
So, again, I tweaked it one November, and I'll talk about why I had to, but what I want to do now is I want to start here, and I don't want to lose this space because this is a big hotbed for me, but I want to add something at the end. So I'll get rid of Big John's and the Red Barn, start here, and then move on a little bit further towards Maple. I just haven't had a chance to research where I'm actually going to capture evidence, but I have to spend hours in each space to make sure it's going to be legit for you guys. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. All right, Tracy, you got anything?
Car and fern.
Okay. Very modern terms that were not available in colonial times. Got it. But she's hearing stuff, so that's nice.
She figured out what it says. I'm very surprised because I was
All right,
like,
let's stop the video so I can give you guys some answers. So that's the red square on yours and the red blinky light on yours. Okay. Whew, this might be a little on the lighter side tonight, guys. I'll really have to dive deep into the recordings. When we were coming down East Bay Street and we crossed that last crosswalk, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. So you're walking on one of the very first streets we ever had. Charleston used to be called Charlestown, the walled city. People that lived here lived in tiny shotgun houses. So people lived here. There weren't many at any one given time, but it's one of the reasons why we come down here. So it makes sense that these people are lower class because the smell of low tide would have been coming in. You know, you guys are all live near a coast somewhere, so you guys know what low tide smells like. I don't have to explain it. But the rich would not have been living in this area at all. They did find some of their tools and equipment and stuff like that underneath here doing an archaeological dig. So they were able to verify that they were lower class. So one of the reasons I asked for names is because I have the full list of names of everybody that's ever lived here. So the names I commonly get are Benjamin and John. Very common names, yes, I know. But I don't find it ironic that every 6 to 7 weeks I get the same 2 names. Now, right now, we're on the newer cycle. We're at the end of like the week 7 into week 1 cycle for me. That's 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. Again, I don't find it ironic that it happens every 6 to 7 weeks. So take that for what it's worth. However, you are walking on original cobblestone. These are Belgian blocks. They're made straight from granite. If you've watched ghost hunting shows, you've probably heard the term limestone before. So limestone and granite are both earthly things. They come straight from the earth. Anything that is that pure is said to hold onto the consciousness of memories. So again, I'll get those 2 names, but every once in a while I get a third name. The name is Jane. It's not as common today as you would think. However, it is a third name of somebody that lived here in 1801. That's 3 out of 5 people. I don't think that that's a coincidence when I get it over and over and over again. There's also evidence of fire, of things that happened here once they did that archaeological dig. But again, I have no significant thing about 1801 other than those 3 specific names. If it's ever a doubt in somebody's mind where somebody's like, yeah, really, I heard John, but that's pretty common, we'll also get the last name, Johnson. So yes, his name was John Johnson. So very easy to remember. Before people lived here, Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here. So anything related to the Freemasons, what was that?
2.9.
Okay. We normally don't get much here. I'll be honest, like it's normally in like the 1 to 2 range. So anything above that, I'm like, okay, we'll take it. Anything related to the Freemasons. So obviously the word Freemason, Mason, Brick, Illuminati has shown up here several times over the past year. And I have to chuckle every time I hear it too. Like, really? Who the hell's talking about the Illuminati on the radio? So again, it's just one of those things where it's like, I can't make this shit up. If I did, I'd be very more creative and would be very popular more than I am now. But again, this is a very interesting space just because of those 2 specific reasons that we can actually prove what actually happened here. I have caught some shadow things in here that I haven't been able to explain with the thermal imaging camera. We do get a lot of orbs in here with your camera. That's why I asked you guys to get a little bit of footage. Now what happens from here is, again, this is residual. And we're in that weird lull where we may possibly not hear those 2 specific names, but I'm always looking for them regardless so I can see the pattern. We're going to walk through the rest of this alley with the 2 videos recording, obviously. But once we get to the edge, we're going to stop the recordings because we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood. I'm literally taking you right on the edge where tour guides are allowed to take you. Where I'm taking you next is another alley. However, I can't take you down it because I've been booted out. You have to remember, you guys joined the annoying group where I didn't always have earbuds, and you guys have the blinky lights and that kind of thing. And at the end of the alley is considered residential for the city of Charleston. I got caught. So we're going to talk more about that once we get down there. However, I still tell the story every single night that I'm out here, and I still get evidence from it. I would say at least 5 out of 7 nights a week. And it's strong evidence. It's not like, oh, that's a coincidence, that's somebody's name, or that's a year. Like, these are very specific details in this story. So,
let's get an Eliza.
I'm going to have to see if there was an Eliza here. I'm not sure that there was. Do I think that it's possibly from the Pinckney Mansion site? I doubt it. She's not going to venture this far out. You have to remember, too, the Pinckney Mansion site was outside the original Charlestown walls. So even though they were all governors or some kind of politicians, they did that on purpose. They didn't want to be inside. They wanted to be the politicians with money outside. Just another point of reference, too. You guys remember the picture I showed you of the mansion? It's that broad on East Bay Street. If you've been down to the Battery, which I don't know if you guys have been down there yet, but the houses are skinny in the front and they go long back. That's because there's 2 reasons for that. The smell of low tide would be going through the front door if they actually, were broadside like the Pinckney Mansion site. So they have the piazzas with the doors on them to keep the low tide smell out. They would open the top window to get the breeze from the ocean to be able to air condition the whole house. The other reason is that the less street side that you took with your house, the less taxes you paid. So you're skinny in the front, less taxes. The Pinckneys, however, were broad. They didn't care. They had money. It was bragging rights for them, just to kind of point that out. So, let's take a walk.
Should I turn this back on?
You can. We're going to be walking, though, so we'll kind of see if anything comes up out of it. But, I mean, again, your emotions might make it go off more often than not.
How do I do it? The REM?
The one on the edge. Yep, REM is the REM pod. Perfect. All right, let's go take a walk through here. Again, cut those videos once we reach the edge.
Yeah, you're right. That's annoying. Off.
It is straight. Ish.
That's how I look at all this stuff.
That's what he said.
Bullshit.
It's fake anyway. Fake. It's on the wall.
That for what it's worth, and you're back up and running.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So again, I can't make this stuff up, so when stuff like that happens, it's obviously relevant to the story. We did have a pretty decent night as far as evidence that came up out of this space, so I was pretty satisfied with it. Unfortunately, one of my people had to pass out in order for that to happen. So take it for what it is. Those of you with cameras, if you want to go to the front of the powder magazine, you can, which means you have to exit the lot and make a left. The only thing that I ask is that you do not interrupt other tours. Again, other tours love to pitch things. Oh, we have a new friend. So I have this cat that follows me around here. He's blonde, and I named him Jack.
Don't do that.
Hey, Jack.
Got her, Jack? Okay. So again, those of you with cameras, if you want to go to the front, you can. Just stay out of the way of the other tours. We're going to end on that wall over there, so that way you guys can get a closer look at the powder magazine itself. And then we'll kind of see what we come up with and see.
So how do I get out of here?
So you want to go
Through there?
exit, yeah. So you'll follow that over there, and just make a left, and you'll see the front gate.
How was it? Oh, light turned on. It's a ghost.
Please. It's motion sensor. You're gonna ask the ghost any questions.
What was it, Anne? I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
Any ghosts over here? We're looking for some ghost. Hello.
You just sound crazy.
To the left, powdered magazine. Hello. Any ghosts? And
We don't have any devices that give us answers.
museum. South Carolina's oldest public building.
It's a cannon.
What?
It's a cannon.
It's pretty cool. Do you have any ghosts? Why don't you go in front? Oh, jeez. Go in front so I can see, like, people. Remember he said keeping the people?
Two by two.
You want this back? You don't like it.
It's up to you. You haven't tried this.
I got some numbers.
What are you?
Pay
I get
attention.
nothing.
I get nothing
Do you
too.
hear any names if you ask questions?
No, I didn't get any names.
The blue button. The button, not that
I
button.
don't know how to use it. Tell me. That one?
But be gentle.
Be gentle.
Thanks, no. Like Warhammers. It looks like a ghost. How did he say that? We're not reimbursed.
supposed to ask what the names are.
Okay, you do it.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Did you hear that, ghost? You don't without a non-believer.
Why do I do it?
We need to show her. Where are you?
Over 2.5.
Am I covering it?
Yeah, I'm getting 3 here.
You're supposed to ask her parents' names. Anne's parents' names?
Nope, going down.
But I thought we were supposed to stay in the parking lot.
So, just very specific. I'll dive into
Yeah.
it more.
Okay.
But again, very, very specific. So, I guess it's like this other 4. Yeah.
It's a big car.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
That sucks to be them.
Okay, Anne. It's right here. She's not gonna like me because I'm not nice.
Non-believer over here.
What'd you say?
So you're a non-believer over here. Alex is like wandering around. We took a picture.
See this thing. Your phone is very hot. Probably because you're on it all the time.
All right. Any strange readings on what you guys have over there?
I have a 3.
Okay. So we don't get a whole lot of readings from the left response. We do have the terms medication and aid right next to each other on the word list, which I was just telling you everything being related to Blackbeard. It's the only grade that he did on Charleston for he's looking for medicine for his symptoms. So he had many marks. Got on and anything weird out of the thermal, she's like enthralled with that. Maybe you should have had that all night long.
No. Why are you staring at me?
So
Am
one
I
of the
hot?
few pictures that I could find of Anne Bonny with a shirt on, because she used to bare her breast to show that the guy she killed was just killed by a woman. So this is what Anne looked like. The name of her parents were William Cormack and Mary Brennan. The name of Calico Jack's ship was called the Kingston. Though I expect Kingston to come through a radio station, I do not. However, the word king would usually suffice. I haven't had it often, but it has happened on command from time to time. Where the hell did this wing come from? She's got sandwich sign. Calico Jack. So I didn't tell you why he was named Calico Jack. He was named as such because he used to wear the jackets of the men he killed. So he was a very dapper young filthy pirate. But that's the only picture we have of him. Obviously it's a woodcut. Somebody did colorize it at one point, but I don't think it looks right. So I like to go to black and white.
I think I just heard murder.
Oh, you have both devices.
I do.
I'm like, don't you have something along those lines on yours? It's in the past 5 or 10 minutes.
Murder.
Blackbeard was murdered. Just lost a really, really bad battle.
From the alley of rage.
What about Dad? What time?
You have dread.
Oh, dread. With
So,
my glasses.
If I had my guess, I would say that the three of you are the skeptics of the group. I would say that collectively, would I be correct? You guys are all like non-believers in ghosts.
No, I'm
No.
totally in for ghosts.
Okay.
I'm the skeptic.
Okay.
I think
Fair.
it's just me.
Yeah, I'm half and half.
Okay. You just probably need some proof. And I would say that you both are on board. Like,
With him, like
yeah,
half and half.
Okay.
When
Also
I'm
need
not
proof.
sure.
Yeah, if I get the proof, I'm good.
Yes.
Scientific.
What I
just
hope you guys
skeptic.
saw tonight was that ghost hunting, first off, isn't a scary thing. And if you don't know your history, you have no idea what the hell you just caught. So, again, when you go into the history of things, and it's still things that I'm learning, you guys teach me shit every single week. Because I might find something like the word dread, I'm like, oh, maybe it's the dreadful Pirate Roberts, and we're talking about the Princess Bride. You know, sorry, I'm showing my age. But anyway, it's just one of those things where if you don't know the history, it doesn't mean anything. Your TV shows are all bogus and bullshit. Very few of them actually have legitimate evidence. And the disembodied voices that they say that they capture so often, these people are spending weeks in the same space trying to find anything. And then they say that they spent one night. So you guys did little mini investigations throughout the night. We'll kind of see what shows up in the 15 minutes that we spent in each space, and that way you guys can at least get a better gist. Not to mention you're going to have some links. Again, I don't even know how much time we spent together. Probably close to 2 hours. We're probably in that range, I'm guessing. So you're probably going to have a good, with both videos, the regular audio and the Spirit Box audio, you're probably going to have a good 5.5 to 6 hours worth of data to watch and listen to. And then, not to mention all the links I'm going to give you for all the reading to verify. So you probably have a good 8 to 9 hour day ahead of you. Again, I'm not expecting anything in return. This is my souvenir to you so you don't forget your time in Charleston. I make everything downloadable. The audios will be MP3s and the videos will be from YouTube. So that way you can download them straight from my website. That way you don't have to keep going back to it. You want to copy and paste all my notes so that way you have the markers of what to look and listen for, copy and paste them. I don't give a shit. I'm not plagiarizing me. I gave it to you. So as the month moves on, you're going to move slowly down there. So I say definitely get to it in the next couple days so you can at least save it and go over it whenever the hell you want to. What questions do you guys have for me? I'm sure there's something among this group. You guys have been very quiet most of the night. I'm surprised that Natalie is quiet. I was expecting you to be my chatty Catherine.
Me too.
Oh, it's been a long day.
Okay. You guys drove in today, didn't you?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to stop the audio recording, and then I'm going to start collecting devices. If you guys think of questions, I'm an open book. You can ask me about other places I've been, other things I've caught. I don't care. You can ask me how old my kids are. I don't care. It's just everybody loves to ask me
How long
questions.
have you been doing this?
Ghost hunting or the tours?
Both.
10 years on ghost hunting, 2.5 years on the tours. I had a real job once. I actually left a 6-figure income to come use my degrees and put it all to good use. Like,
What's your degree?
I have, my last one was my master's in creative writing, but I have a BA in journalism and a BA in English as well. That's why I tutor English during the daytime. So, I'm going to take that camera first. Keep the questions coming. What else you got? Yes, I'm about to become a grandfather. No, you probably don't believe that.
You have 19 years old, you said?
My oldest is 21.
21 and 15.
And 21 and 15.
So are you going to be a grandpa?
I am.
Oh,
Any day now.
Okay. Congratulations in advance.
I didn't say I was happy about it.
If you want some more teenagers, we've got 4.
Ooh, thanks.
Yeah.
They're all for sale for free.
Now we have January. Something else I need to dive in because it's not anything that pops into my head.
I have to reset
Reset
it.
it. Wait for this last word to come through, and it's Muslim, which means nothing over here.
Hello. Ex-Muslim.
So, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of times, if I have anybody of color or any kind of diversity on the group, their ethnicity shows up.
There's something about it. Ethnicity.
Yeah. So is Muslim relatable?
Yeah, I'm Muslim. From Afghanistan.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
Like, for example, if I have somebody like up here from Florida, from like South Florida, like Filipinos or whatever specific ethnicity they are, it shows up. Like it's, and I was waiting for something, but you said hello.
Yeah.
I hate to assume anything.
Don't do that.
That's why I don't even ask about your guys' relationships. I mean, I told you I had 2 transgender males at the tour, and I had no idea. So,
Yeah, I'm very non-Muslim. So
okay.
I think it makes it right.
again, I mean, I hate to say we'll take it as evidence, but we're going to take it as evidence. We didn't have much tonight. Let's just put it out there. Did you guys at least have fun, even though it was kind of a slower night?
It was fun.
Yeah, it was
All
fun.
right, then that's